Morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out on this chilly day today. I would like to acknowledge a few people that we have with us today and thank them especially for coming. We have Congressman Gregory Meeks here. Senator Joe Abato. Assembly Member Alicia Hindman. Councilmember Donovan Richards. Councilmember Ruben Wills. Assembly Member-elect Stacey Pfeffer Amato. And a good friend of mine, Pat Foy, the Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. So thank everyone for joining us today to mark this exciting milestone for one of our country's most beloved pieces of architecture and symbols of American history. Joining me in remarks today is our terrific governor, Andrew Cuomo, JetBlue President Robin Hayes, Hotel Trades Union President Peter Ward, Queensborough President Melinda Katz. I'm sure they all agree with me that there are only a few structures in the world that command the far-reaching fanaticism, reverence, and sheer elation that this masterpiece surrounding us inspires. It embodies a time when our country was looking skyward, with the excitement of air travel was palpable. Designed by masterclass architect Saarinen, this cathedral to mid-century modern design ushered in an extraordinary era in American history, known as the Jet Age. I'm proud to say that the Jet Age was born right here in Queens, New York. The Jet Age is when we welcomed the Beatles to the United States for the first time. It's where the New York Jets got their name. It is where Pan Am and Trans World Airlines were racing for the sky. Admittedly, the recent life of this TWA Flight Center hasn't been as lustrous. It's sat dormant and dark, closed to the public for over 15 years. So today we mark a new chapter in the life of this incredible landmark. Together we're taking a momentous step forward and permanently reopening this icon for generations to come. Our team is honored to have the opportunity to breathe new life into the TWA terminal as JFK's first on-site hotel, restoring its 1962 condition and reintroducing it to New Yorkers and visitors from across the globe. We're equally proud to play a role in revitalizing the region's busiest airport and contributing to Governor Cuomo's vision for a 21st century aviation gateway here at John F. Kennedy Airport. Thank you again, Governor, for your incredible leadership in modernizing our regional infrastructure network. It takes a village to embark on a project of this magnitude. In our case, we have 125 different firms working on this project, including 9 law firms. So think about that for a second. We are dealing with 22 government agencies on this project. No offense to any government agencies, but that's a lot. There are hundreds and hundreds of people have helped us reach this milestone. I'd like to take a moment to express our gratitude to some of them. We owe a special thanks to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, who believed in our plan to transform the Flight Center and gave us the opportunity to realize it. Since the days of Austin Tobin, this organization has been critical to the state's success. Thank you to Pat Foy, Don Free, Jim Stephen, Jody Lee, Mike Moran, Liz Rogak, Tom Bosco, and the entire aviation department of the Port Authority. We've really had a wonderful experience working with the Port Authority. And it's been a pleasure of mine, so thank you guys. Thank you to the Mayor's Office, especially Mayor Bill de Blasio and Deputy Mayor Alicia Glenn. Thank you also to EDC President Maria Torres Springer, Jeff Nelson, and the entire team at the Economic Development Corporation of New York City. Thank you to New York City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito, her land use staff, and Councilmember Ruben Wills, who represents this district. Thank you to Queensborough President Melinda Katz, who's been an ardent supporter of this project and will soon welcome the country's greatest hotel to her borough. Thank you to Peter Ward, and Gary LaBarbera and Rich Morocco, we're proud that the Flight Center Hotel, the TWA Hotel, will be union built and union operated. Thank you to our partner JetBlue Airways, to Robin Hayes, Rich Smythe, the former CEO Dave Barger, the chairman Joel Peterson, Mark Powers, and Jim Letty. You've been invaluable teammates in bringing this architectural gem back to life. Thank you to American Airlines for being our trademark partner on this project. Without American, we would not be able to breathe life into one of the nation's most storied and iconic brands. Thank you to Queens Community Boards 10, 12, and 13, who unanimously approved the Flight Center's rehabilitation. We were fortunate to collaborate with Betty Bratton, Adrian Adams, and Brian Block. Thank you to Richard Southwick and the team at Beyer Blender Bell, who have been the architect of record for this building for the past 24 years and have been tirelessly working to restore the building to its former glory. And thank you to Anne-Marie Lebrano, who's been a part of our team since day one. Thank you to Marie Genet and the FAA, the Eastern District Regional Office, for their work on our environmental assessment process. I'd like to thank Turner Construction, especially Gary McCassie, Vinny Masucci, Charlie Murphy, and Peter Daverin for their unwavering support. And thank you to Stephen Lefkowitz, quite simply the best land use lawyer in New York City and a good friend. Thank you to all the organizations that have worked for 14 years as a part of the Redevelopment Advisory Committee to keep this building standing. There were a number of occasions when this building almost came a cropper. And we have a lot of organizations to thank for that. The Municipal Art Society, the New York Landmarks Conservancy, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, DOCOMOMO, the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, the State Office of Historical Preservation, and notably the cultural attaché to the Finnish Embassy. They helped a lot with the Section 106 process of the 1968 National Historic Preservation Act as well. I'd like to thank Lufthansa, the airline behind our Constellation. This plane, just known as the Connie, allowed TWA to fly nonstop from the West Coast to the East Coast for the first time. In the coming years, we're going to bring a Lockheed Constellation from Maine to right here in the Flight Center. It will be restored into a restaurant and cocktail lounge, and it's going to be parked right there. The kids are going to be able to sit in the cockpit, pull on the yoke, push the throttles. It's going to be an amazing experience. I'd like to thank our MCR team, Russ Shatton, Chris Cornick, Frank Garrett, Contea Chitness, and William White. When we founded MCR 10 years ago, I never dreamed that we would have the opportunity to bring back a building of this magnitude. And I couldn't have done it without your tireless work and talent. And thank you to the TWA family, many of whom are here today, for channeling their passion and love for TWA, the carrier, into our project with every story and every memento. Lenny Cagno, who is not able to be here with us today, is looking down on this project and this day with a happy heart. He spoke on our behalf in the Euler process, and as Carl Weisbrod said, he brought the joy back to the Department of City Planning, which is not easy to do. To truly understand the significance of the Flight Center, we need to travel back in time to 1962. It was a year defined by growth and optimism. It was the age of Camelot. JFK was president. John Glenn had just orbited the Earth. The first James Bond movie came out that year. It was Dr. No. It's the year of Vatican II. It was a total reformation of the Catholic Church, when Mass went from being in Latin to being in English. It was the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was capitalism versus communism, and capitalism prevailed in 1962. The microwave oven, a device that seemed straight out of science fiction, was now within consumer reach. Supersonic air travel was right around the corner. And quite fittingly, the first color TV show was on primetime that year, and it was the Jetsons. So our goal, and what we're going to do with this project, is bring back the ethos of 1962 to this project. There's nothing that we can't do spirit that New York and America embodied in 1962. Back then, the airfield that we're sitting on was known as Idlewild. A Finnish architect named Eero Saarinen was commissioned to do a new terminal for Howard Hughes, the crazy industrialist. He personally chose Eero Saarinen to build this building. He wanted it to be a leader in air travel that reflected the promise of aviation. In Saarinen's words, to embody the excitement of air travel. Saarinen was a prolific architect. He did the St. Louis Arch, the Dulles Airport, the CBS building on 6th Avenue, amongst many other influential buildings. But like a lot of his work, TWA was ahead of its time. This was the first building that had enclosed passenger jetways. The baggage carousel that we all use today was invented in this building, designed by Eero Saarinen. The ceiling above you is 66,000 square feet. It's roughly the size of Madison Square Garden, but it's columnless. There's only 4 points of contact with the ground. It's a spectacular engineering marvel that required 4 30-hour continuous concrete pours, which from a construction standpoint is pretty tricky. Unfortunately, Saarinen did not live to see his masterpiece finished. He passed away at age 51, but the Flight Center became part of his legacy, and the terminal became increasingly less functional over the years, but it grew as a repository of countless memories. First-time flyers, immigrants coming to America for the first time. Look through the glass windows behind me, and you could see the airfield and watch what was a relatively new phenomenon at the time. Thousands of TWA pilots and flight attendants who shepherded passengers through the air, hundreds of whom are with us today. So what does this mean? We're reopening this aviation icon 50 years later. JFK will have an on-site, full-service hotel, a must-have in a 21st century gateway airport. This project is being built with exclusively private investment dollars. In addition, in addition to the hotel's 500 guest rooms, which can be reached via the air train, we have a lot of other exciting features as a part of this building that are great for the region. There's 50,000 square feet of event space. We can have a conference here for 1,600 people. This is great for JFK and the city. We're going to have 8 restaurants, 6 bars, catering to JFK's 56 million air travelers. And this is great for the Southeast Queens community. One of the dining options will be a food hall, which is right around the corner there in the old check-in area. And this is going to be an incubator for small businesses with loyal followings. All the small businesses will be from Brooklyn and Queens and celebrate the homegrown food scene there. We're going to have an outdoor observation deck on top of the south building over there, so you can watch the planes take off and land on runway 4 left and 22 right. For those of you who were inside Saarinen's terminal, this building many years ago, it looked familiar, and that's what we're going to bring it back to, how it looked in 1962. We are restoring the mid-century modern aesthetic that defined this moment in American history, down to paying homage to Ralph Lauren and Valentino, who designed the uniforms for TWA flight attendants and pilots at the time. And we are bringing back the Paris Cafe, the Ambassadors Club, and the Lisbon Lounge to how they were back in '62. This project, as with any adaptive reuse project, takes a lot of manpower. I'm proud to say we're creating 4,000 permanent and construction union jobs, many of which will be held by local residents. We're participating in 18 workforce development employment programs at a borough, city, state, and federal level, and we're going to ensure that this project is inclusive. We have ambitious MWBE goals, and we plan to exceed those goals. The TWA Hotel is going to be the greenest building in the entirety of the Port Authority portfolio. We'll have LEED certification, and we're building our own power plant. As a part of this building. We're going to be completely off of the electrical grid, and we have even designed a battery storage system to manage our peak loads in the building. With the opening of this hotel, JFK will be one step closer to evolving into a 21st century transportation hub, reflective of the 21st century region that it serves. As we've advanced this plan, we've had a lot of support from tremendous groups of people. from government officials, mid-century modern enthusiasts, and aviation buffs, TWA alumni, and jet age aficionados from around the globe. We've gotten a lot of emails, dozens of pieces of paraphernalia from swizzle sticks to uniforms, many of which we're incorporating into our on-site museum here. But one quick email that I wanted to share with you, it was particularly moving. We received it last week. It was from Stefano Molo, an Italian gentleman who lives in Perth, Australia. And Stefano wrote, "Reading the announcement of the redevelopment that is about to take place, I must admit it moved me to tears. I felt overwhelmed by emotions and memories. Not only did my late father work for TWA for 30 years, but I myself have walked through that building many times. I knew that terminal like the back of my hand. I walked those corridors, touched those walls, went up those steps many times. I used to eat French fries with ketchup at the small fast food facility upstairs. All this is to tell you that TWA is in my heart. I'm intending to fly one day to New York and stay in that hotel that you're going to build and relive those moments experienced. Thank you for building the hotel and for saving the TWA Flight Center." Stefano, we look forward to welcoming you and thousands of others to the TWA Hotel and a lot of new people to build new memories in this building. Thank you for coming today and being part of what's going to be a very special project for New Yorkers and all patrons of Kennedy Airport. I now have the great honor of introducing a leader in infrastructure investments in the Empire State who have been central to his administration. He's doubled down on his commitment to modernize our transportation hubs, recognizing that they act as true economic engines to our economy. We're fortunate to have an ally of JFK and the Flight Center Hotel in Albany. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you very much. Well done. Good morning. Well, what a treat today is for an old Queens boy, and I mean both old and Queens boy. It is a pleasure to be back in this terminal. It brings back many, many childhood memories, all good ones. It was so striking in its architecture and its presentation, and it really captured the imagination, not just of adults, but also children. To Tyler Morse, who stepped up 22 government agencies, that's a pleasure to deal with, huh? But talk about taking on a challenge. He did. He's extraordinary at what he does. He's one of the best hotel developer operators literally on the planet. So let's give him a big round of applause, Tyler Morse. His partner, who you will hear from in a little while, who's the head of JetBlue, which I consider New York's hometown airport and airline, and they do a phenomenal job for the state. There's nothing that New York needs that JetBlue isn't there for. Robin Hayes, it's a pleasure to be with you, and let's give him a round of applause. That this project is going to be union built and union run is an added benefit because it is the labor movement that built the middle class. And this middle class needs rebuilding, and if there's a labor leader who can do it, it's Peter Ward. Pleasure to be with you, Peter Ward. We have our Queens Borough president, who's doing a great job. I'll give you a little secret when you're dealing with her. She likes to be referred to as Madam President, and your approvals will be done quicker if you call her Madam President. So Madam President Melinda Katz, pleasure to be with you. And our Queens representatives who Tyler mentioned, but Congressman Greg Meeks, who's just a national star, is doing a great job, and Senator Adabo, who works with me in Albany. Thank you both very much for being here. Rick Cotton from my office, Pat Foy, who's the head of the Port Authority, and my sister Maria, who is the one who keeps the Cuomo family moving forward. Thank you very much for being here. As Tyler laid out, this building is an architectural masterpiece. And when it was built in 1962, just imagine the vision, the foresight that went into this construction. And I literally remember as a child how striking it was and how different and how it provoked the imagination. Enclosed jetways when you're walking through that tube. First use of closed circuit TV. You know, this really was the jet age and the Jetsons. And it all happened here, and it all happened in Queens. And it was extraordinary when it happened. And it happened at an extraordinary time in this country's growth and this country's psyche. Tyler's right. It wasn't just that the architect said, I have a vision that is incongruous from the psyche of the place. This was the psyche of the place. This was at a time when this country and this city and this state believed they could do anything at any time. Some people didn't like it and cried, but most people welcomed the vision. And it was emblematic of the bravado of New York and the bravado of America. There was nothing we couldn't do. We were going to the moon. We were the strongest country on the planet. There wasn't a question. And we were filled with confidence. This project, to me, though, is not about yesterday. It is about tomorrow. Tyler Morse and JetBlue do not build an artifact to 1962. They have built a hotel for the future. 500 rooms, 50,000 square feet of meeting space. They are banking and betting and believing on the future. They're not building a museum. They're building a business venture for the growth that is going to happen, right? They're betting on New York. They're betting on JFK and JFK's growth. And they're right to do that. They are reflective of that spirit of optimism of 1962. But they're banking on the future. JFK is the busiest airport in the world, period. 57 million people come through JFK today. In terms of growth in 2030, they believe that number is going to go to 67. In 2050, 90 million people will come through JFK Airport. So just think about the potential. When you are literally the gateway to the world, and you are the gateway to the greatest city and the greatest state in the United States of America. That's what JFK is all about. It's a regional economic engine for a good part of downstate, and it's only going to get stronger, and it's only going to get better. Now, somewhere along the way, we lost that energy of 1962. Somewhere along the way, we lost that confidence of 1962, at least in terms of government. And ask yourself, when was the last time you saw government do something big and exciting? When was the last time government took on a challenge like Mr. Morse and Robin Hayes took on, where they said, we're going to take this old building and we're going to recapture the majesty and the magic of 1962? We've lost that confidence. That was always the New York confidence. That's what made New York, New York, right? We were always the first, we were always the best, we always did what couldn't be done. What made this city what it is, what made this state what it is, was building the Erie Canal, 1817, from Albany all across to Buffalo. That made New York the gateway to the West. We built the Empire State Building in the midst of the Great Depression. Our New York idea was, let's build the tallest building ever. Everything we did was the biggest and the best. New York City, 100 miles of aqueduct just to get water down to New York City. Hundreds of miles of subway underneath New York City. Every engineering marvel greater than the last. That's what made New York, New York. But when is the last time we have taken on a challenge like that? When was the last time we just had a proactive vision of daring and confidence where we stepped up and said, we believe we and do something special to spur the growth of this city and this state. One of the last public works was the Verrazano Bridge, 1959. Extraordinary engineering marvel, but it was 1959. JFK was started in 1943. LaGuardia was started 1937. What happened in all that intervening time? Our appetite for big public works, our confidence in big public works waned. We're not sure, frankly, as a people, as a collective, that we can tackle it. I don't believe it's about the money. We question our competence, not just in New York, on the national level. Last airport we built in this country was Denver, about 20 years ago. One of the last big public works was in Boston called the Big Ditch. Billions and billions of dollars over budget, 8 years late. The problem is, if you don't build and grow, somebody else will. I used to be the Housing and Urban Development Secretary during the Clinton administration, and I used to fly into a city, and as I was flying into the city, I would count the number of cranes. And if you count the number of cranes, it gives you a barometer of the economic future of that city. Why? Because either that city is growing and developing, or its competitor city will. The city up the block, the city down the road, or the city on the other side of the country or on the other side of the globe. And this city, this state, this country has not been keeping pace. You fly into Dubai and look at what they built as an airport. You fly into Korea and look at what they have built. You go to Europe and you look at what they've done with high-speed rail. There's a whole world of public project initiative that we have to engage in, and we have to engage affirmatively. Now, I believe in New York. I believe in New York's future. I believe in the investment that Tyler Morris and Robin Hayes have made here. I believe we're going to continue to grow, and I believe in our capacity to get things done. And that's why this state has invested $100 billion in reinventing our infrastructure, the largest investment in modern history. And not just a large dollar investment, but a promise and a commitment to the people of this state to actually get it done. Penn Station. I don't know how many of you have had the joy of going through Penn Station. You can either take a train at Penn Station, or you can fly to Rome and go to the catacombs. It is the same basic experience. And it has been that way for dozens of years, almost in a way that we don't even notice anymore. But that is not acceptable. That is not New York. And we're going to redo Penn Station and finish what they call Farley Hall, Moynihan Hall across the street. So we have a decent train destination that is befitting of New York. LaGuardia Airport. Our Vice President Joe Biden, God bless him, has a gift for candor, said one time, if you were blindfolded and you landed in LaGuardia and they took off the blindfold, you would think you landed in a third world nation. And all the New York politicians were aghast. Oh, how could he say that? He insulted New York. I said, well, it wasn't the most sensitive comment ever made, but it happens to be true. Look at LaGuardia Airport. When you land in LaGuardia Airport, it's not what New York should be. But we've accepted it for too long. All of us, we've gotten a little tone deaf, a little too sedate in our ambition for what we should have and what we should be. So we're going to build a new LaGuardia Airport, not patch it up, not fix it up, not rehab it, down to the ground and all the way up a brand new airport. And we're going to rebuild our bridges and rebuild our tunnels. We're building a new bridge at the Tappan Zee. Finally, after 20 years of talking about it, we've learned how to do these things better than before. It's not going to be government built. The most important thing to know is to know what you don't know. And government does not know how to build. That I've learned the hard way. But we know how to partner with private sector companies that do know how to build. And that's the formula that works. Government partnering with private sector companies that have the expertise in construction to build a city and a state that is the best on the globe, period. That should be our goal. And that is also our goal here at JFK. And this is a great start, what you're seeing today and what Mr. Morris and Mr. Hayes are doing. But this is only the first step. There are 70 airlines at JFK. We don't want JFK just to be the busiest airport. We want it to be the best airport. So I'm saying to the other airlines that are at JFK today, the state of New York will pledge $1 billion to partnerships to rebuild JFK in partnership with the other airlines and the other terminals to build the greatest airport on the planet, because that's what New York deserves. Let's take this inspiration as the first step to a better future for John F. Kennedy Airport. Thank you and God bless you.
Tyler, Governor, thank you very much for those very kind and inspiring words. And it's great to have everyone here today in front of JetBlue's Terminal 5, our home. It's been our home now as we come up to celebrating 17 years. And this wonderful Terminal 5 facility opened back in 2008. Also, like to thank Pat Foy and his amazing team at the Port Authority, who have been such great partners for so many years. And where are you, Huntley? Where's Huntley? Congratulations on the promotion, the new job. Hear it up for Huntley. And also, before we move on and celebrate the future, let's remember two very dear friends who are very, very special to JetBlue. And that is, of course, Bill Dakota and Sue Bear. Without them, JetBlue couldn't be doing what we're doing today, and we remember them with a great honor. So to Sue and Bill, please let's remember them as we think about this fine building. So it's wonderful to be here to celebrate this new anticipated TWA hotel. And in fact, our friends from TWA may remember that December the 1st marked the last 15th anniversary of TWA's cessation of operations, which was extremely sad. But at JetBlue, we see the people at TWA as our inspiration. And as we look to grow and to serve our customers, we think very, very, very carefully about TWA. And we have many TWA employees who work with us today, work for us today. But just know, all of our TWA friends, you're very much the inspiration for JetBlue's now 20,000 crew members around the world. So as I thought Tyler did an amazing job with, this hotel is not just going to be a hotel, but it's going to be an incredible destination. It's going to be somewhere that people come from all over the world to come and visit. It's also going to be a great facility for airline and design enthusiasts, and of course also an amazing place to stay in order to get your very early JetBlue flight out in the morning. We were so honored to be partnered with Tyler and his team at MCR as they restore this amazing hotel. And if Tyler doesn't mind me telling a very brief story, quite early on, you know, when we were talking, and I said, oh, Tyler, this is going to be a really, really good airport hotel, isn't it? And he said, Robin, it's going to be the best hotel in the Northern Hemisphere. And I thank him for doing that, because for the most part, airport hotels can be pretty grim places to stay. And here we have something that's going to be so amazing and inspirational. So again, Tyler, we're so honored to partner with you and your team, and I can't think of a better person to navigate. And as many of you know, Tyler wasn't the first leader to try and make something work here, but the fact that you're the one that succeeded, I think, talks to your energy, passion, and commitment and determination to get it done. So I think you know, he talked a lot about the glory of the jet age, and we couldn't agree more. And something like this is only happened with the support of so many different partners. So for all of you in this room, I'd like to thank you for your vision and your support, whether you're one of the 22 government agencies, whether you're someone who's been whispering some advice in Tyler's ear. And Tyler and his team have built this amazing coalition to get a project like this off the ground. And so it's so great for all of us at JetBlue to be associated with you. And Governor, I couldn't agree more with you and what you said on infrastructure. You know, as an airline, we've invested significantly in infrastructure. We are New York's hometown airline, but you know, we also consider ourselves as an airline that's committed to providing outstanding customer service, being an amazing place to work for our crew members. But none of that's possible without vision and a commitment to infrastructure. And I remember when we built this terminal behind us, Terminal 5, and since then we've expanded it. And now as JetBlue, we look ahead and think that infrastructure here in the state of New York, but around the country, is critical for our air system, our travel system, because the air travel system in the United States is what powers so much of our economy. And if it's not there, then our competitors around the world will take advantage of that, and we can't let that happen. So Governor, thank you for your vision. Thank you to all of the speakers, and thanks to everyone for turning out today. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Peter Ward from New York Hotel Trades Council, and it's a great pleasure to be here this morning. I'd like to thank the Governor for his kind remarks, and Tyler, thank you so much for inviting me to be here and to be part of this special occasion. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, and I grew up in that age when we thought America could do anything. The first time I flew was out of this terminal. I remember the first time I drove over the Verrazano Bridge. I remember the first time we had manned space flight. And I can remember thinking back now to those days about how we could do anything. And the Governor's right. Somewhere along the line, we lost that. And the idea that we build the best and that we are the best at everything we do has somewhat been lost. And it would be wonderful to regain that. And a big part of regaining that is infrastructure. A big part of regaining that is economy. A big part of regaining that is jobs and prosperity. The Governor has been a leader in recognizing these very important things. We're revitalizing LaGuardia Airport. We're revitalizing Penn Station, Tappan Zee Bridge, Kennedy Airport, this project. All of those things contribute to the vitality of our economy. The hospitality industry is truly one of the most important industries in this town and in this state. It contributes mightily to good jobs and to taxes. And it is a shame that world travelers come here and have to travel through airports that aren't the best, and have to travel on infrastructure into the city that isn't the best in the whole world. And the idea that we're committed to changing those things, I think, is vital to the future of this entire region, and in fact to our country. And I think it's important that New York leads the way, that we show the rest of the country that government works, and government works when it's intelligent and when it partners with business, and when you do big things and you think big and act big, you get great results. So, Governor, thank you so much for your leadership. I met Tyler a couple of years ago when he started thinking about this project. When he first came into my office and started to talk about it, I didn't know whether to think he was crazy or he was serious. I have grown to be very fond of Tyler. He is one of these people with an infectious enthusiasm, an effusive personality, a person who sees possibilities where other people don't see possibilities. He's a person who wants to reach for the stars, who wants to do great things. And so his plan for the redevelopment of this terminal is really the best one that was offered in the RFP process. And there's no doubt in my mind that not only was his plan the best plan, but that he's the best person to pull together the team and to make it happen. And in the process, I can't think of a single person that Tyler has alienated. He's talked to every local elected official and community leader. He's respected the community. He's made sure that everybody knows that people are going to be hired from the local community to work on this job. He's come and respectfully dealt with people like me and said, not only are we going to build this project union, but we're going to partner with you to staff it with union employees. And the goal is not only to have a staff, but to provide those workers with a dignified work environment, with health care, and a dignified retirement. We're not just talking about a fly-by-night job with transient workers who come and go, but people who get invested in an enterprise and make a career. What a noble thing. What a great thing for our state. So it is really extraordinary for me to be here today and to be a part of this. I can't wait to see the finished project. And Tyler, once again, I want to congratulate you on your vision. And Governor, I want to thank you on your commitment and your vision. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor. Pleasure. Good afternoon. This is a great day for Queens, and so we want to welcome everyone here as the borough president of our great borough. I want to welcome the governor. I must admit, by his introduction of me, I find myself in a unique position of being tongue-tied for a quippy remark. So I will say, as we break ground and celebrate this great hotel here in the city of New York, that Governor, I'll just call you the great Governor, Andrew Cuomo. We always love having him back in his home borough of Queens. I do want to thank Tyler Morris. I have to tell you, I have been doing public service for 25 years. I started when I was 10. I was a child prodigy. And it is rare in my new position of borough president, it's been about 3 years, that I find that you go around the borough and you go to the community boards and the elected officials and all of the folks involved with the project, it is rare that we get everyone to agree. It's just a rare commodity. If city officials have issues, state officials have issues, congressmen have issues, right, Congressman Meeks, but we all agree, amazingly, that this project is not only great for Queens, but for the city of New York and for the state, because of its iconic structure, because of the modern technology it brings. But really, Tyler, I have to tell you, the work you did with our community boards, and the chairs are all represented here today, showing that you really cared about the process. And so as the president of this great borough, I thank you for giving it the respect that it deserved. Thank you. To JetBlue, we love the fact, to JetBlue, Robin Hayes, we love the fact that we are at the home for JetBlue, but the community activity and the presence in which it has here is truly extraordinary, and I thank you for that. And to Peter Ward, really, we make it happen, we make the work. We respect the employees and the union workers, the trades, and we thank you for carrying that mantle very much here in Queens. As all of you know, the Queens airports are a huge generator of economic activity for the borough of Queens. Over 48,000 employees through this airport. It's an amazing generator not only from the employment perspective, but for people that come to visit here, work here, have to come through here in order to make it to the rest of the East Coast. So just on behalf of the people of Queens, and as a favor to me, all of you that are visiting Queens here today, before you go back home, stop somewhere and spend all of your money right here in the borough of Queens. As you know, and the governor has said it a few times, this is just a start. I had the honor of being appointed to the Governor's Redesign Commission for both airports, for LaGuardia and for Kennedy. We are looking for great things from those restructuring. We are looking to be the place that people want to come. We are looking to be the place that folks say, hey, go to New York. The airports are easy to navigate. There is great hotels there to stay in. Go out and come back to the borough of Queens as well. But I was so excited when Tyler came to see me about this airport. Yes, I am of the age where I actually remember TWA, and I remember the greatness that it was. And one of the things that excites me about this structure is that I look forward to bringing my children here. Because the governor went through all the great things that happened the year that it formed, and all the great things in the 60s and 70s and 80s. But I look forward to coming back with my kids. And as that iconic structure stands here, and as we see visions of the past, we also see greatness in the future. And I look forward to telling my children all about where we've been, because I do believe that you only know where you're going if you have some understanding of the past. And this airport, the TWA airport, does bring it all together. And I'll end with this. I am a daughter of Queens. I'm very proud of that. But I am, first, a New Yorker. And I believe that as a New Yorker, we deserve greatness. And we deserve to show that off to the rest of the world. This airport here today will be a sign of the greatness of New York. People will come back to see it. They will revel in it. And I am so excited to show it off. Congratulations on today.
So thank you, everybody, for coming today. And as you may have seen, it takes a village. We have some wonderful speakers, Robin and the governor, and I'd like to thank Melinda and Peter, and thank everybody for coming today. I cannot wait to buy you a cocktail at the TWA Hotel, because that means we will be serving cocktails, and that is a great thing. So thank you all for coming. We are going to go outside now and move some dirt around to get this program started. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.